Hello YouTube, Dave here again. This week's video I want to do my first impressions of D&D 5th edition. This is not by any stretch a full review, more of just sort of my initial thoughts of it based off of what I've read, and I did actually end up making a character from scratch using the PDF online. So I was able to do a little bit of character creation, and I did some test combats, and we'll kind of talk about how those went. So first of all, I have to say, all in all, it seems like it's going to be a pretty good version of the game. The rules are pretty simple and straightforward, nothing too complicated, like with 3rd edition where they had things like attacks of opportunity, and just the sheer number of things that provoked that was kind of maddening to a poor DM sometimes. So it's kind of nice to see that this was really kind of scaled down as far as that goes. All in all, it seems like it's going to be fun to play. However, it definitely feels a lot more lethal than earlier editions of the game. So I just ran, for example, a couple of test combats. One was with the first level characters as they are in the starter set. And what I did is I put them up in an encounter against the bugbear and the two goblins and the wolf that he has in his encounter. And the human noble fighter ended up biting the big one. Just ended up getting a critical hit from the bugbear, which does, I guess I didn't find any concrete rules, but where it rolled 2d8 instead of just 1d8 for the Morningstar, I decided to throw in an extra one there as if he did a critical hit and then his extra dice damage. And that just completely one-shot killed the fighter, just did too much damage. So it seems like it's a much more lethal game. The second encounter that I had was with the green dragon, and I leveled the characters up to about 3rd level, which seemed like a good place for them to be at the time that they fought it, and it just completely destroyed them. 2 breath weapons and they were all unconscious, and a couple of them were just flat out dead. So it's definitely going to be a much more challenging game when the combat does come. Now things may be a little bit different there. There could have been some options that maybe I didn't bother with. You know, I was just trying to do it quick and dirty just to get a feel for it, but definitely feels like a much more lethal version of the game once combat does start. But again, all in all, I certainly enjoyed running the combat. It seemed like a lot of fun. The focus on storytelling and role-playing in this edition seems like it's going to be interesting, but at the same time, most of the adventure in this adventure booklet is encounters, so I don't know how far away they're going to be able to fully get from just a pure dungeon crawling, especially at higher levels. Would be interesting to see. So as far as the combat goes, may as well keep talking about that. So it's enjoyable, but the leveling up system, I'm not sure how I feel about it. I leveled the characters from 1st to 3rd level, and there was really no noticeable gain in things like attack bonuses or anything other than hit points and a couple of extra abilities. So not quite sure how I feel about that. The fighters still seemed ill-equipped to go up against the green dragon. Even with the +1 weapon that I ended up giving him, it was still a tough time to hit its armor class. And the fact that the dragon's breath weapon was 42 points of damage on average just decimated everything. There's also the spell system that is different in this edition, so I just want to talk about that a little bit. And what happens with the spells is, unlike previous editions where the spells would just go up in power as you do, they have set abilities that they do. Like Magic Missile in previous editions would do 1d4 plus 1 per missile. You start with 1 Magic Missile at 1st level, and then it just goes up every 2 levels after that to a maximum of 5 missiles. And you get that automatically for using it as a 1st level spell. In 5th edition, it starts off with 3 missiles for 3d4 plus 3. You can do that to 1 target, or you can split them up against multiple targets. And you have to sacrifice higher level spell slots to get additional missiles. So I'm not entirely sure how good this is going to be in the long run. It was useful using it as a 2nd level spell slot, because the 2nd level spells weren't necessarily that great. But I don't know what situations you might come into where you would rather cast Magic Missile as a 3rd level spell instead of doing Fireball, which does, 8d6 to start. So we'll see how that goes. It'd be interesting if they have rules where you can scale spells down as well. So you could have, like, a Fireball, for example, using a 1st level spell slot, and might finally explain how the Necklace of Fireballs gets that bead that only does 2d6. As for character creation, it was simple enough, but really didn't enjoy looking at a computer screen PDF format. I just didn't like scrolling up and down to try to find the pages that I was looking for. I'd much rather have the physical book. For the purpose of this review, I actually tried to get this printed off at a print shop, but they couldn't open the PDF file, so I ended up just printing off a couple of pages just to kind of show, you know, what it looks like, and it's very basic stuff. So, in general, how do I feel about 5th edition? Well, it seems like it's going to be a very good version of the rules. The fact that it was play-tested as much as it was by, you know, as many people as it was, is probably going to have a huge impact on it, and hopefully we won't see, you know, D&D 5.5 in a couple of years. It feels a lot more in line with, you know, the traditional D&D games, you know, the AD&D and even the 3rd edition. Quite a departure from 4th edition, kind of getting back to its roots, so I guess a lot of people will be happy with that. Myself, personally, I actually thoroughly enjoy 4th edition, so I'm not sure if I'm ready to fully jump ship yet. We'll see what happens when the core books come out and what supplements they release. But in general, if I was going to run anything other than 4th, I would definitely consider 5th edition, especially over 3rd. I think that 3rd or 3.5 was good, but having run it for, you know, 12 years, you definitely see the limitations. The fact that there doesn't seem to be spell resistance, as it is in 3rd edition, looks like it's going to be a very positive thing. The only things I'm kind of worried about is the scaling up in power. Like I said, there's no real difference between a 1st and 3rd level character as far as attacks go, and I'm not sure if they're going to necessarily be equipped to deal with the challenges that they'll be facing. I mean, that green dragon just absolutely destroyed the party, and all they had to do to defeat it was lower it to half its hit points, and I couldn't even get that far before the second breath weapon came into effect. All in all, I am looking forward to the core book coming out next month, the Player's Handbook. I'm looking forward to actually running this as a full-on adventure with a gaming group as opposed to just doing test combats. So I actually recommend, you know, picking this up if you're a fan of D&D. If you know, weren't into 4th edition, this will definitely be the one for you. If you've been playing 3rd edition for, you know, since 2000 and are kind of getting tired of it, you know, don't really feel like going to Pathfinder, this might be the version for you. It's different enough to warrant it feeling like a new edition, but it's still traditional enough, I guess, that those old school fans will still be able to thoroughly enjoy it. So that's sort of my first impressions on the 5th edition rule set. Again, I only got to do character creation, combat, and a little bit of the magic system. So we'll see how it goes when the Player's Handbook comes out next month. And that's it for this week. So this is my video. I hope you enjoyed it. And we'll be back next week, and I might do a little bit of background as to how I came into the D&D hobby. So thank you for watching, YouTube.